Good morning, guys. I am out here in beautiful Ormond Beach. So we're going to be doing WKMG Hits the Road again, and you guys know my role in this. I don't really am super focused always on the law enforcement perspective of where we're going to go visit. So I'm at the Ormond Beach Police Department this morning to interview the city's top cop, Chief Godfrey. And you always got to be a unique individual whenever you're policing a beach town. I think you have to have kind of a chill vibe. And this might be the chillest chief I've probably ever met, just because the guy is always nice. He's always super excited to be at community events. And when it comes down to it, I think we should just hear from him. So we're going to welcome Chief in the truck this morning to kind of have a conversation, hang out a little bit, and see what's going on. So we will wait for him to come on out. I promised him some really good walk-on music. So let's see what we got this morning. He's an 80s baby, and he said he wanted some, well, he's not an 80s baby. I'm an 80s baby, but he wanted 80s walk-on music. So this is for you, Chief, as he's hopefully coming out here shortly. But just hanging out here this morning. So WKMG will be here next week. You want to make sure you go to Hits the Road on clickorlando.com, and you can check that out. And we will be streaming live our shows yet again. And always a great time to get out in the community when we're doing stuff like this. But every time I do go out in the community, we're sitting here and we're chatting it up with our department head. So here comes Chief. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Oh, we got
you something from Uncommon Grain.
Uncommon Grain. Is that a local spot here?
It is.
All right. What do we got here? Because this looks like
It's for your body.
for my body. All right. Sounds good, ma'am. If you want to get on the other side, you're more than.
I'm just gonna let him do it.
All right. You have faith in your chief. This is good.
Literally one of the best chiefs ever.
All right. Sounds good. Hop on in, Chief. You're taller than me. Everyone's taller than me, so. Man, this looks good. Guys, check this stuff out right here.
Here's the water for you.
This is how you get in good graces on an interview, is when you come in with snacks and all that fun stuff. So, Chief, we're streaming live this morning. We're already live. We're at clickorlando.com, News 6 Plus, the News 6 app, YouTube, all of it.
Really?
Gotta love it. So, I'll give you a layout of the land real quick. You can put it here if you want. Whatever's streaming and how it looks on TV is right here on the iPad. So we have Thomas that's in my ear currently, and he's back at the station kind of making sure everything is working and looking good. And then this is all our current cameras that the truck has live currently streaming. I'll take care of all that. You just take care of chatting with me this morning.
All right.
So first and foremost, how are you doing?
Doing great. Thank you for asking, and thank you for allowing me the opportunity to excel this morning.
Yeah, man.
And ride along with Trooper Steve.
Yeah, right. We're going to be hitting this neighborhood up next week. Our team will be out here live with our WKMG Hits the Road. And I was like, look, you guys already know who I want to talk to. So let's get in touch with Chief and see if he wants to jump in. And you guys were immediate on the response saying he'd love to hop in. So I appreciate that. Let's hit some basic stuff with you. Yes, you represent an amazing group of men and women, but I always like to know a little bit about the person who's kind of leading the charge a little bit. So, where are you from originally?
Born and raised in Miami, Florida.
Okay. What hospital? Jackson?
Close. North Miami Osteopathic. I don't even think it's there anymore.
Right. I was like, I'm a Jackson Memorial baby, so I was born in Miami, but raised up here in Central Florida. What got you into policing? Is this your first cop job?
No.
Okay. Talk to me a little bit about what got you into policing and where you started.
So, it's funny you would ask that. So, in living in Miami during the late 80s or the mid 80s, there was a lot of things going on down there. And I didn't think that staying down there would be a good idea for my health.
Okay. So the youth down there during that time, what years we talking?
I graduated in '83, but they had a.
That explains why you wanted the '80s walk-on music.
That's absolutely right.
Got it. All right.
We have to represent. But anyway, I joined the military. Actually, my mom signed the papers for me to join the military, the Army.
Okay.
In 12th grade, and so I had a trajectory of, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to go to the military. Got out of the military, moved up here after the military to live with some friends. David Higgs from Higgs Auto Parts.
Okay.
I'm going to do a lot of plugs today.
Go, I can feel it already.
Yeah.
We got the local bakery already getting the shout out, so it's
and
fine.
Then, of course, with Higgs Auto Parts, you also have Higgs Auto Paint.
Okay.
For all your vehicle needs.
This is going to be good.
So, anyway.
Right.
Moved in with him, and then it was like five of us, five bachelors living in a house, and one of them became a police officer here in Ormond Beach. And then my best friend, Todd Reed,
Okay.
he became a police officer for Daytona Beach.
All right.
And then we became roommates, and basically he talked me in, and I went
So
to
you
the
weren't a
academy.
cop yet. They
I was
became
not.
cops, and you
They-
didn't.
yeah.
Okay.
I left for the military, and they stayed back. But the bottom line is, went to the academy here at Daytona State, formerly Daytona Beach Community College. Go Falcons!
All right. Looks like your
And-
guys are rolling to something.
Yeah. And with that being said, I started my career here in '88 with the city of Ormond Beach.
Okay.
Where's he going?
Not sure where he's going. He's going to be coming by us here in a second.
Anyway.
Driving nicely, though. That's good. That's good. Safe and secure. So then you got up in this area.
Started here in Ormond Beach. I did about a year and a half here, and my roommate, who was from Daytona Beach, talked me into going. He didn't talk me in. He convinced me. He told me it might be a better move to go to the city of Daytona Beach and be a police officer there and serve the citizens there.
Okay.
So I did, in fact, do that for 21 years.
Wow.
And then I came back to came back to Ormond Beach as a lieutenant.
Okay, and then
2011, and then I was
worked your way up.
blessed with the position of chief in 2016, and I've been there ever since.
So you've been here 16 years.
I'm really bad at math.
Yeah,
but,
roughly.
2011. So yeah, I think it's closer to 14. But
Okay. So what would you say was the niche for you? Like, what motivated, other than the two friends, what was the interesting factor that you were like, I'm going to get involved in policing?
And I think every police officer fundamentally wants to help people.
Right.
And I actually wrote that on my initial application, that they asked, why do you want to be a police officer? And I was like, I want to help people. I've seen a lot in my life before I was a police officer. I have a lot of respect for law enforcement officers, and it's a noble profession.
Right.
And I wanted to be a part of that. I want to be a part of something great. So that's why I signed up.
What would you say is the most unique thing about beaching a police? You like that?
I do.
Policing a beach area that separates you guys from the inland metro areas. Because Ormond Beach, yeah, you guys are thriving. You guys high visitation, but you don't get that metro feel. What's the difference out here for you?
Well, the first thing is it's home.
Okay.
So this is my community. This is my home. I learned to surf right here at the Granada Approach. We're getting ready to hit.
Yeah.
So it's also a sense to give back to your community and protect your community. And I know
Okay.
a lot of the officers feel the same way. The great men and women of the Ormond Beach Police Department.
You guys have such a unique group of people out here, and to include like your community service guys.
Yes.
Awesome group of volunteers that are always out and about. When you first got here as a lieutenant, what would you say the biggest change to right now? We're talking 14, 15 years later. You're here as a lieutenant, and now you're the chief. What's the biggest difference you've seen?
Well, we're much busier.
Okay.
And again, the city necessarily isn't growing at leaps and bounds, but we're being elbowed and crowded out around us. Daytona Beach is booming to our south. We have Flagler County building to our north, and because they're not in the city,
Right.
but we're impacted by those people that use the city services and our restaurants and our stores, the traffic, and then everything else associated with just more human beings in one place. So we may not necessarily we may be at max capacity, let's say,
Okay.
but we're still building, we're still developing neighborhoods and and hotels and motels. And then it's all the stuff around us. Daytona Beach has a huge community
Right.
just on the other side of the road, and it's State Road 40.
Yeah.
On one side it's Ormond, the other side is Daytona Beach, and it's a huge community that we've already seen the impacts from it that we're going to have to deal with.
Man, do you guys have good working relationships with other municipalities in the county out here?
Yeah, I would say it's funny because I thought you would ask me that question.
Of course,
Yeah.
I want to know truth.
Well, I'll give you the truth. I haven't seen it better in my 35 plus years. I mean, we have an outstanding sheriff.
Yep.
We have outstanding police chiefs. You know, and I'm actively involved in the monthly police chief meetings where we meet monthly and we talk about all our issues that we're going through. And then I'm also actively involved in the state police chiefs organization, and I represent Volusia and Flagler County.
Okay.
So there's a lot of interaction, a lot of networking. We all get together. We all play very well in the sandbox here, unlike some other organizations and counties in the area.
No, you're right, because I get to experience 9 different counties, Chief, and not everyone feels the same way, and they do express it, because sometimes people are fighting over jurisdictions rather than just saying, hey, I'm here to help, kind of thing, and backing each other up. How big is the Ormond Beach Police Department sworn?
So when we're fully staffed, we're 76.
Okay.
But we're like everybody else, we're down.
Okay.
We have several, I would say almost double digits of people in the academy that we're sponsoring as part of our recruiting efforts. They're on the way, but you know, some are going to graduate in March, some are going to graduate in April, some are going to graduate till November. And then just because they go to the academy, that doesn't mean, boom, you're a police officer. They have to go to our internal field training program. So we won't see the fruits of our labor until sometime next year. But I know the officers are excited that they're getting more help. Help is on the way. So that's a good thing.
And for those guys watching right now, wherever you are, just so you get a little bit of mindset here, there was a large gap of time, a long period of time where agencies were not sponsoring.
Correct.
And now we're seeing that suddenly rise, because you guys aren't the only ones. To me, it's rather a surprise, because usually it was the massive big agencies that always had a few here and there. But now it's almost everybody's offering some type of incentive to get men and women, qualified men and women, to join their ranks. When did you guys start sponsoring again?
We started back in, I want to say 2020 or 2021. But
Okay.
there's
So
a
COVID time?
Yes, but there's a uniqueness to the way this is handled. It's kind of, and the best way I could describe it is, have you ever been to Vegas?
I have been to Vegas.
Okay, well, whatever happened there, we don't want to hear about it.
Got it.
However, you know how one hotel has a shark tank, and
Right.
then the next one goes, well, I'm going to build a water fountain out front, and then
Okay.
the next one has Venetian Bay. So that's what we're experiencing right now. And sometimes I refer to it as wage wars, but every agency they have to propel their uniqueness out there, whether it's wages, a combination of wages,
Right.
salaries.
Figuring out how to market your uniqueness.
Yeah, absolutely. Union contracts, pensions, take-home cars, beards, tattoos, everything, and
Right.
to include sponsorships to the academy, and that just keeps everybody in the game relevant. And again, we've had to respond and react to those things, because every time you set the bar, another agency or another casino says, well, we can do one better, and they set the bar. So it's constantly moving. The bar is constantly moving.
I don't think a lot of the community even realizes that, because they just hear the griping, or they'll hear, oh, staff is down. But it's like, no, it's a competition out here.
It is.
Because you're not just hiring anybody to come out. Even, I'll address it. Yeah, every now and then one gets through the cracks that probably should not have become a cop. But even the process that individual goes through is extremely, extremely critical, because you guys comb through everything. And then that costs time, that costs money, and you're grabbing somebody that might also be interested in another agency.
Yep.
So there is a huge process in just the hiring and looking for these candidates to go here throughout here. Since you've been chief, what has been some of your initiatives that you've brought to the table? Because every chief has their thing.
Yep.
What's your thing?
Well, I wanted to create a tactical team for,
Okay.
for our citizens, because we didn't have one, and we did, in fact, pull that off.
So when you say tactical team, are you talking to like a SWAT team?
Yes.
Okay.
We did have the ability to get an MRAP.
Very nice.
Yeah, it is nice. It's great. But just the fact that when you rely on somebody else, you rely on them, and we needed our own tactical team with our own equipment. But since we've created the team, we've realized, you know what, there's strength in numbers. So we've actually transitioned. Our members from our team are now part of the Southeast Volusia Regional SWAT team, which is headquartered out of Port Orange, and it's a much bigger force multiplier. Instead of a 12-person team, now you have 35 people if you need them.
And by using those other agency teams, they're basically, it's like a mutual aid type thing.
Absolutely.
So to clarify that for people who may not understand, yes, Ormond Beach has their own team, but in times of greater need, you've got a lot more men and women pulling up from other agencies.
We have our own members assigned to this multi-agency team. But the end of your assessment is correct. You know, when we need them, we're going to get a lot of people.
So there's nothing to worry about here in Ormond. If a tactical team is needed, you guys got them covered.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
And then we always have the backup of the county, the sheriff's office, or Daytona Beach PD, because we all work so well together. So yeah, there's always options, but we wanted to be relevant players in that tactical game.
Love it. I remember when I was out here as a trooper once, I had called for just routine backup. And I always remembered I had to be careful when I was in Volusia County and called just for routine backup, because everyone shows up, the cavalry comes out, and it's like, listen, the trooper's okay, guys, but you guys have such a team concept going on out here that it's like, hey, this trooper's calling for another unit, let's all roll, kind of thing. It's like, oh, hold on, I just need some help. Other than the tax side, I noticed you came with a flyer. You have some stuff coming up.
We do.
Talk to me a little bit about your community engagement that's taking place here in the city of Ormond Beach.
Well, I can tell you, our community engagement is much greater in this smaller scale here in Ormond Beach than it ever was when I worked for Daytona Beach. I was actually blown away by it.
All right.
We do so many things in the community to work on maintaining those positive partnerships with our community. And again, I really didn't have anything to do with this. This was already in place. I might have amplified a few things,
right?
But the credit goes to the men and women on the ground that do this every day. But it also goes to the men and women and the supervisors that were here before me that got this started.
So you have an established community, basically outreach team.
We do, yes.
Here at Ormond.
Officers Henderson and Rossi.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we also have Lisa Messerschmidt down at our POW office, our Police Athletic League, which is a full-time position for her. And they do a lot of sports activities, but the big thing they do is they're really into the learning, the tutoring after school, and that outreach for our students, which is really cool. We have a youth development council, which is we take at-risk kids from the community and we try to develop them, and they go to conferences and they represent the city. And actually, this year our POW student of the year is it's our POW girl of the year. She's part of our POW program, and just to say, there's not a lot of active POW programs going on anymore. But
you're right. That's why I'm really impressed that you guys have a thriving one.
Yeah, we do, and she's our POW girl of the year. She goes to Mainland, and she is a superstar, and we're very proud of her.
That's cool. Like,
it really is.
Sometimes, and I'm going to be brutally honest, there's not a lot of chiefs that I talk to that understand or I think are excited about that level of engagement sometimes. I'm going to put you and my good friend Chief Doug Gerke of the City of St. Cloud in the same kind of area, because he gets it, and he's a tactical guy, but he understands not really the enforcement of the youth, but just the relationship building there, because 10 years down the road they're going to remember that relationship that they had with that officer.
Absolutely.
And may second guess whenever they're going to do something bad, or out on a scene may understand where that law enforcement officer is coming from during some type of law enforcement encounter or whatnot.
We wave at our cops with all of our fingers here.
I don't see that all the time in the metro area where I'm at.
Use the whole hand.
So whole hand waves here. That's nice. That's a good.
Sorry to
probably
cut you
makes
off.
them. Yeah, no, it probably makes them feel good about out patrolling. But I think the engagement team's great. You have an amazing PIO, by the way. She's always got a smile on her face.
Yes.
Very responsive. I like responsiveness, because some PIOs are not. So it's always a good thing. Other things you want to talk about? What do you have going on here in the city? Any upcoming events or anything like that?
Yeah, we have a lot going on. And before we get off our outreach, folks, we also have a DARE program, very active and robust.
DARE still going.
Yes, and I will tell you, when I got here, Officer Stokes was a DARE guy.
Okay.
And he knew everybody in their community. He's since retired, but he's still involved in the school system. But then you had Jay Brennan, you had John Dovine, you have Danielle Henderson, you have Andy Rossi. Those are our DARE instructors now that go to our 5 public schools, and then they also go to private schools in our community. We teach DARE in the private schools too. But I think that's one of the key hooks that Ormond Beach has that other communities don't have, is that direct connection with the students and their parents and their families.
Right.
And it's really, you talk about it. When I became chief, I had an old sheriff tell me there's 2 things you really need to focus on when you become chief. And I thought he was going to tell me, budget,
right,
or police cars. And he says, you need to take care of your kids and your old folks. And that really struck a chord with me, because it's kind of true. I mean, you got to take care of everybody, because if you can have the extra time to focus on your children and your older folks, because you'll do great work. And
That's
I've
great
since
advice.
internalized that. And
I like advice that you would not expect.
Correct.
Because it makes you think a little further when that advice kind of hits.
does.
You're like, okay, there's a meaning as to why this leader is telling me this. Obviously, they've learned a thing or two.
He did.
During their time. Was it an older Volusia sheriff?
It was, yeah.
Okay.
Ben Johnson.
I know Ben. I know Sheriff Johnson.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yes.
His wife is in radio, so
Okay.
I get to see them, Gail, over
Yeah,
every now and then at some events and stuff like that. So great group of people. Good mentor to have. Definitely a
is.
good mentor. I recently got to hang out with Sheriff Staley up in Flagler, and that was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. He definitely likes his green roof inn.
He does.
Yeah, and it seems like the guests don't that much, but that's okay.
I think it's the food.
The food,
I think so,
it's
yeah.
probably not the best thing going on in the
Right.
world. So you had a flyer
I
talking
did.
about your upcoming
Yeah, we got a thing called the Donut Dash.
the donut. I love the play on the
Yeah.
humor with it a little
Right.
bit. So
It's a
talk to
Donut
me about
Dash,
that.
And I don't know where it went. I'm going to get yelled at if I don't get this out. Do
I
you
don't
have
know
it?
where it went either.
Hold
I thought
please.
you got in with it. No, it's
Yeah.
not back there.
I think I just pulled my back muscle trying
Yeah.
to find it.
It's all right. Don't worry about it. There
Found
it
it.
is.
Okay, Donut Dash.
You
Where's
put
the
it.
camera?
We're using this one right there.
Donut Dash, Saturday, April 19th, 2025.
Okay.
We'll be out at the trails. We've probably been doing this about 7 or 8 years, but it's a fundraiser for our Police Athletic League. That's very well attended. I'm inviting everybody to come out. It's a great 5K run. It's through a kind of a hilly neighborhood, believe it or not.
Okay.
So it does have a challenge.
So some challenges there. It's
There is.
not a certifying 5K.
Oh, it is.
It
It
is.
is, because our local track team uses it as their Super Bowl at the end of the season, and you actually have some serious runners come out, and they're high school kids and college kids. They
And these
come
guys
out
are probably doing like 6.5, 7-minute miles.
more like 4 and 5.
Yeah, like
It's
no
ridiculous.
thanks.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. They're super fast, but they're also super proud of what they do, and we're blessed to have them. They come out, and like I said, this is like their end of their season race series points, and they have the championships for them. It's really cool.
It's got to be fun when you get to have these moments, because not every agency has the time nor ability to do that. And basically, what I'm getting from you is you got a good control on crime to where you could do stuff like this.
Absolutely.
What is your highest level crime that you do see frequently here in the city that residents could do a little bit better at maybe helping you guys out?
That's a great question. So thank you for asking.
Yeah.
That. So the first one is we've always had a problem with our citizens not locking their car doors and leaving valuables in their car.
Okay.
So we'll call those car breaks.
Okay.
But the thing that drives us nuts about car breaks is they also leave their guns in their cars, and we have to lock them down. We have a program called Lock or Lose It, and they've done a lot better, but we could always use the help. Please remove your valuables.
See, and that makes me upset because I'm a very pro Second Amendment person. However, I always say, but gun ownership has crazy responsibility with it.
It
You
does.
don't, just because you could have it doesn't mean you should. And if you are going to do it, there are so many steps that you need to take as a gun owner to ensure that that firearm is safe, under control all the time.
Yeah.
And when you do stuff like that, it's rather irresponsible. Even if it's, I didn't mean to, it's still irresponsible.
And again, we all have lives. We all, had to get the baby inside fast. I
Right.
had to the groceries, and we get rushed and we forget. But yeah, I would just ask if if they could just be more responsible as far as their gun ownership. Because I too agree with you as far as the Second Amendment, but I don't want to put the guns in the wrong hands.
Right.
So that's the first one. And then the one that doesn't get a lot of airplay is our frauds.
Interesting.
And I just talked to Sergeant John Devine of our Criminal Investigations Unit yesterday about, hey, I'm going to get asked this question, I'm sure. Give me some information on frauds. And basically, if there's any way that you think you could scam somebody, it's already been thought of and it's already been employed on somebody. You know what I mean? So any scam at all. So what we see a lot of right now, currently trending, is you'll get a phone call and it's somebody calling saying, hey, this is the jail and we need you to bond out your grandson. And that's a valid phone call. You could get a phone call like that. However, when they tell you to go to Walmart and buy a bunch of gift cards, or
that should be
the clue.
The FBI calls that one a clue, right?
Yeah, you can't solve your problems with a gift card
over the phone
in the world of fraud, and that's what we see a lot. We see a lot of our folks getting swindled and hoodwinked by almost every way you can do it under the sun. But if they're telling you to go to a Bitcoin machine and insert some money into a Bitcoin machine, run away and call us. And we do. We actually have a very, like you said, our PIO puts out a lot of fraud information. But it's amazing the way that these crooks are ripping off our citizens. And again,
that's got to really tick you off, though.
It does, and it's they're kind of bullies. And the other thing is, there's a certain amount of pride when you do get swindled. A lot of our fraud victims never report it
because they feel
they're embarrassed.
They're embarrassed.
And again, I'm a human being too. I get it. The problem when you don't report it is it's going to happen to somebody else.
Right.
And I know a lot of victims are like, if I report it, I'm probably not going to get my money back. No, you may not. You might. But the one positive of reporting it is you may save another victim from being, another person.
And someone may be like, well, what about, who really cares? But what happens if it happened to your parents or the neighbor that you actually care about? Then you're going to feel bad because you didn't report, hey, I got that same stupid text the other day too.
Yeah.
And I got in trouble about it. You could at least grow some awareness. Squeaky wheel gets the oil. That's how I'm a big believer in that. So fraud, and people need to lock up their belongings.
Yeah, those are our two biggest problems. We're not a high violence city. We're not like other cities, around us. We're not a high homicide rate city. This is a safe town, and a lot of the credit goes to our citizens that actually look out for one another.
I love it.
And they take care of their property, and they see something and they say something, and that's what we preach. But the other side of that is our officers are out here acting with patrol and communicating with the community and letting them know what's going on and having that positive daily interactions.
Love it. Chief, do you have anything you want to throw out before I wrap this up? Because I know you got a busy day. I know you got a lot.
I didn't get the 45 minutes like Chief Young got. What happened?
Chief Young got 45 minutes?
That's the video I watched. I don't know if you guys edited it.
Well, there's a little bit of a lead in the beginning of it. So I was about to say, you've got 30 full minutes with me so far. So
has it really been that long?
Yeah, we've gone on for 30 minutes so far, full. Anything that you'd want anybody to know about Ormond Beach that you wanted to plug, that you got anything, we can go for as long as you want.
Well,
since we're here. But
it's a great community. We're obviously hiring like everybody else.
Okay, so you guys are actively looking for folks.
We are.
This is good. This is good.
And we have, we're very competitive with the benefits and everything.
Oh, Valentine's Day.
And then, this last thing is, this was for my grandkids.
Okay.
I told them I would try to pull this off and get you to wear them too.
Oh, of course. I'm all about having a good time, Chief. So, yes, I love this. All ready for Valentine's Day. This is going to be the best part. I guarantee they will clip this.
Probably make
this
some memes
portion
about it.
Right here and air it in the evening and be like, Steve went all the way up to Ormond Beach just to go drive around and have fun with the Chief. Right. Yeah, of course. That's exactly why I did it. So, Chief, I appreciate you so much. I don't have coins just yet, but I do have poker chips that are Trooper Steve.
Do you have those?
I have poker chips.
Who's your budget guy? Who do I need to call?
Me, because I bought these
to help you out.
And
I didn't get these. The city council they actually made these for me.
Well, you are the Chief. You've got 4 stars, man. I do not have 4 stars. So, we'll do a little trade here.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow, I got the Chief's coin right here. I collect coins like it's crazy. I probably have about 400 on my walls at home. The wife's always like, you need another rack and get them off the desk. And I'm like, Well, if you're giving me permission to buy another rack, why not? Guys, if you are interested in information about the Ormond Beach Police Department, visit their social media handles. They are always posting up-to-date information. You can visit their website. You can also, it looks like someone's going to interrupt our live stream here. Oh,
we got more coins.
good. You first.
can't-
You first. Oh, what do we got? We got a live stream.
This is
You're joining
This is Captain Smith,
I've been
everybody.
monitoring live stream.
Captain Smith.
I
I
only
appreciate.
have a challenge coin, but the coolest challenge coin we ever came up with.
All right.
That's
Oh,
our track.
motors. Come on.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm a motor man, so you gotta love it.
And
And the
this is
patch.
the team the chief started, our
The
special
tax-
response team.
So then I'll give you
Patch.
one of
Thank you
my
very much.
poker
Appreciate
chips. Look at this. I'm gonna hang out in Ormond Beach more often, guys. Captain, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
So-
Captain.
So guys, make sure you head over to clickorlando.com/onpatrol. Watch the full stream. This is probably the most fun we've had on an interview in a long time. And of course, our team will be here next week for WKMG Hits the Road live out here in the community. So you're gonna want to check that out. Chief, thank you.
It's always
Thank
a
you so
pleasure.
much. Guys, we'll talk to you later.